What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we got a 2020, pretty sure it's 2020, Raptor 700 in for maintenance and kind of a look over. So yeah, I'm gonna run through just the maintenance that I look for, and then also it is peeing on the floor. So I'm not sure if it's a rock or a stick, but it looks like all the coolant that's dripping on the ground is coming from pretty high up. I don't think we're going to get lucky with a cap issue. The cap seems to be on there. I did see this line on top of the reservoir. Let's see if we can see that. That line is split right there, but that wouldn't explain the coolant that is dripping all over the fan and everywhere else. So there's got to be something else that is going on with either the radiator or one of the larger hoses. But yeah, we're going to do oil change. I noticed right off the bat pushing this thing in the garage, you go to turn the bars and the bars have been hitting the tank pretty bad. So you got to watch it with aftermarket Raptor bars. If you don't buy that Raptor specific, or if you don't raise your handlebars up, chances are they're not going to clear. And not only are they not going to clear, they're probably not going to be comfortable because the Raptor sits up so high. You can see on the Raptor project over here, the even flex high bend ATVs really weren't where I wanted them. So this Hauser stem ended up being perfect. It's +1, and I think +1 backwards also, so it brings the bars back to you. So yeah, this customer hit him up and he said, yeah, just grab him some Pro Taper Raptor bend bars. So those should be here tomorrow for him. We'll fix all his spacing on his controls. I think he got these ODI grips from me about a year ago. And I don't think they were installed right, and I think this one, the end of it kind of snapped a little bit. So we'll see if we can still use that one. If not, I might have a spare for him that I just don't have a matching set for. But yeah, so basic maintenance: oil change, oil filter, air filter, tire pressure, torque the wheels down, adjust the chain, lube the chain, clean it if it needs to be cleaned. This one, yeah, we'll probably go ahead and clean that one off. Grease all the Zerk fittings. So there's lots of little Zerk fittings, and on the Raptor there's a hidden one up underneath the front swing arm. A lot of people don't know about. And we got the rear one on the rear linkage. Adjust all the cables. We can go ahead and check that. That's a no right there. That's 3/4 inch of play. Too much. Losing some power there. And then he still has his parking brake. You know, we'll make sure that thing works right. If not, we might see if he is ready to give it up and go ahead and delete it. But we'll see if it locks in. It looks like the cable's got a little bit of a hitch in it. Clutch cable, about triple the normal clearance right there, but hey, it is better than a lot of the other ones that I've seen. So he was still maybe disengaging. And if y'all are from Georgia and ride Iron Mountain, something about the dirt up there, it just doesn't come off. You know, he probably hasn't washed it since the last rainy day, and honestly, this is what your bike looks like after one day. Iron Mountain and the red clay, and I don't know if it's the mica up there or what, but it just doesn't come off. Uh-oh. So this air filter looks pretty damn dry. So I'll pop that one off and we get to play the game. How much dirt made it by. Not my favorite game to play for sure. But this one, if you put those air box back on, it almost looks like water came in through the top. Just the way that the dirt is on there. But yeah, we'll clean that up. If we can't clean it up, I got Raptor and YFZ uni filters in stock. So we will hook him back up with that. I don't think this one's going to make it through one more cleaning because the seams are busting apart. So all good, 25 bucks. Uni filters, they usually go 2 years as long as you take care of them like they should be. But yeah, coolant leak, full maintenance. Let's get started. pretty sure this Raptor, I have a video of it getting flipped on its nose pretty hard on top of a hill. So there's no telling what we're gonna find under these plastics. Looks like the grill has already been off at some point because it's not really lined up exactly right. Oh, I see a big bend. Let's see. So taking the grill off, first thing you see is, uh-oh. See if we can find where it's dripping. I bet it's on the back side. I was hoping it would be this mount, but either way, I'm pretty confident it's going to be the radiator. So, all the plastics have to come off anyway. Did y'all see the whole plastic move? This mount over here might be broken. Yep, it is broken. find a spot to put these. It is race weekend, so I got stuff everywhere. So we're gonna run Southern Routes on Saturday. It's gonna be in Allen Road Trail, and wish it was Iron Mountain, but things happen. Nothing we can control. Just charging batteries right now. I already checked the oil. Oil is good. Tire pressure on Friday night, and maybe just put it up and down the road a little bit before we're 100% confident. But I'm like 95% confident right now. Shocks are perfect. Just got redone. They only have about 20 minutes on them. So yeah. Second ride for that bike. It has not been out much. That's why it's so damn clean. So yeah, this one has been out. So it's definitely getting a bath. Oh, I think I see it. Think I got it. So it is on that mount, but because it's touching, I think it's wrapping all the way around. So right here, if you touch here, it's not wet. You can see that there's a little bit right there. But if you look in between the two, you can see that it's shiny. And that means it's touching the fan. This is. And then it's going down the fan and then dripping everywhere. And I bet whenever it gets hot, I bet it pisses everywhere. And yeah, I bet whenever the Raptor's warm and it gets some pressure built up, I bet it looks like a super soaker coming out of the back of there. I'm surprised that it still has coolant in it. But hey, another day. So let's price him out a radiator and install and fluid. And then we can wash this thing off and get started on his maintenance while we're waiting on a radiator. So we got the bent radiator up, and it is for sure bent all the way up. The factory radiator, I didn't want to have any fitment problems, so we just went ahead and got the OEM one. I wish they sold it without the fan, because that's driving like half the cost on that one. But hey, quick turnaround time is what this customer wanted, so that's what we're trying for. The hose that was split right here, we got a new one installed. That's just a vent line. This one was a little bit tricky to get off. You gotta be super careful with that one so you don't break the barb off. And then all of our hose clamps are still on. We had to bend this one back just a little bit. We're gonna do some fitment and make sure it does fit right. The frame is bent. You can see that it has rust spots on both sides. It still steers good, even though it's got the wrong bars on it. So I don't want to straighten the frame and then the stem be bent a little bit and then me cause more issues than it's worth. If the customer is for sure like, hey, fix all of it, we would go ahead and bend the frame back and see what we could do there. But with it just be barely bent back and it's still steering fine, we're gonna leave it alone for now. But yeah, we're gonna get the radiator in and get the fluid back in. On the Raptor, there's 2 spots to bleed it from. Make sure you got no air bubbles in it. So that's a whole process in itself. And then after that, we can start the maintenance. Wasn't too bad for a first shot. So we need to get the lines behind and the fan connection plugged in before we get ahead of ourselves. And these connectors are super short. Get a little bit of lube. Not too bad. Alright, so we got the new radiator on. I got one screw I gotta drill out, put a nutsert in it just to fix it, but we're gonna go ahead and get started on the maintenance. So usually I start with the air filter because it does have to soak for a couple minutes, and while you're waiting on oil to drain and everything else, it can do its thing. This air filter is completely dry, and that's a uh-oh. So you never want dirt to get past your air filter, and you can see that that is a ton of dirt that got past it. So we were already planning on replacing the air filter. We'll just have to let him know it is what it is. I mean, there's no getting the dirt back out without rebuilding the engine. So kind of run it until it blows. Could take a while, you know, depends on how much dirt is in the rings, if it starts to blow oil or not. Alright, so old filter in the garbage. There's not even a point in trying to clean it. You can see that it's already coming apart as soon as I try to take the cage out of the center of it. So I use these. They're uni filters. These are dual stage, but they don't come apart like the YFZ filters. So you can see it's got a yellow filter inside, red filter outside, and it's all one piece. So first step is grab our filter oil, and this is just Notes oil off the Rocky Mountain website. It does separate, so I always usually shake it up a little bit, and definitely coat your new filter. So just because your filter's new doesn't mean it catches any dirt. It only catches dirt if it's got oil in it. Looks like our bottle finally had it. I've had this bottle for a while, but it's squirting oil out the handle now, so it's time for a new bottle. Yeah, I think at this point all of it's coming out the handle. Is making a mess. Alright, so then you're just going to work the oil in. Make sure the whole thing's shiny. It's hard to get a bunch on there. Alright, new filter's all shiny. Now we need our cage that we cleaned. This one needs it to be cleaned a little bit more. See if we can get it all the way clean. I'm going to run it under some water real quick, get the rest of this dirt off of it. Alright, cage is clean. So then we're going to take our new filter and we're just going to be careful and work the filter slowly around the outside. Usually I just get like one thumb and then just kind of hold it there as you work the rest of it up. If you try to force the whole thing in there at once, you'll tear your brand new filter. So just be careful whenever you take it off too. Make sure to follow the same kind of work it around, and then make sure the hole is lined up. Alright, hole is lined up. Clean your bolts off. Same thing, if your filter's dirty, you can throw this in the bucket whenever you clean it. Alright, cup goes towards the outside, that way it doesn't cut into the filter. Make sure the hole's lined up. Alright, hole's lined up. Next we're going to get our filter grease, and this goes on the lip. I probably wouldn't just use the red grease that you get in the bottle like this. I would make sure you got some filter grease, something a little bit thicker that'll stay on there. Because if you put the regular oil against your airbox, it's just going to make a big mess. So this stuff dries pretty light, and you don't got to worry about a huge mess whenever you take your air filter off. Alright, so we just make sure we got a good seal around there. Wipe a little bit of excess off, and then we're going to stick it in the airbox. Make sure our cushion on the front of the airbox is nice and flat before you tighten it down. Alright, and just tighten it down till it's snug, because it's already pretty tight in there. This can go away. Airbox lid, same thing. Make sure, and at least the inside of the airbox is clean. We might spray this one down for the customer just because it's got some heavy clay, and I don't think they usually take the plastics off. So we'll see. If I got time, then I'll try to spray it off a little bit for him. Get it back to him a little bit cleaner than it came in. Get it around the seal. Alright, so inside of the airbox is clean enough. If that airbox was any dirtier than it was, I would have popped the drain out like you saw. I was just clearing the dirt out of it. But if it was any dirtier than what it was, then I would honestly just wrap the intake and take a water hose to it. And just make sure to not fill up your airbox full of water. Just lightly mist it and let all that dirt run out the bottom drain. Working our way to the front, we're going to check the cables. This e-brake might be broken. Let's see what the pads look like. Pads have plenty of life left, so we can try to adjust that screw and see if this thing will behave, but it looks like the cable's getting bound up in this part. So, yeah, you see how it's pinched. Alright, so right there you see how it's sandwiched. That's what's causing the cable to bind up. I think this customer does still want to use this e-brake, so we're gonna ram a screwdriver in there and see if we can get that thing to open up a little bit. I might can even just tap it with a punch, see if it'll open up. Yeah, that thing is pretty solid. This is my pry screwdriver. Don't use your good screwdrivers for this. So close. Alright, so now the cable moves more freely. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but hey, it does at least work now. Alright, so now the lever locks back. So that makes me feel better. So now we can do what I was coming for, was the clutch cable is a little bit loose. So we're just going to break the adjustment on the nut. Run this one out just a little bit more. Yep, about right there. Alright, that's looking good. This lever has a little bit of wobble in it, so we're just going to try to pinch the mount. I mean, at this point the mount is already worn out anyway, so you're not really doing any damage to it. Really, at some point, every four wheeler is going to need an aftermarket or something to replace that clutch mount. Then you can hear it squeaking a little bit, so we're going to grab some chain lube, open it up. So I usually get the clutch arm and the cable just a little bit. This isn't, really how you lube the whole cable. This is just a quick maintenance thing, just to keep everything from rusting. Alright, so no noise now. Probably hit the e-brake cable just a little bit too. Alright, much better. Alright, so clutch is adjusted correctly. Slide the boot back over it, that way we keep all the water and junk out. Throttle is a little bit loose, so we're going to pop this cover. That cover is really on there. Rotate it just a little bit, that way it'll come off a little bit easier. Alright, break the lock nut, and then we're going to try to get 1/8 of an inch of play. That's good right there. And make sure you pay attention whenever you're tightening this to where the lever actually stops, because you can tighten this all the way out and it'll just continue to open the throttle body, and that is not what we're going for. So it's going to have a little bit of slack in it still. It's not going to be 100%. So you see how there's a little bit of slack in it? Alright, much better. Slide the dust boot back on there. And since our e-brake cable does work, we're gonna leave it pulled and grab some 12 millimeters. 12. And his pads are still in good shape. I think I might have gotten these. They're either, they're some brand of Sinister, because that's usually the ones that I go with. So they're like the copper looking pads. Usually EBC or whoever's got good stuff. Definitely no eBay stuff. Don't know why that Zerk fittings popped. That's the stuff that we look for while we're doing the maintenance, because you definitely don't want that thing to get crammed full of dirt. It's going to make the next fluid change or fluid bleed pain in the butt. Alright, so we're going to run this in. Alright, so about right there, you can still force it if you want to, but really that should be enough to hold it. So we're going to tighten it down here and then turn the e-brake lever off and see if that adjustment is good. We don't want any drag whenever the lever is off. And this thing is going to wear out pretty quick. That's usually why I just remove them. Alright, take the lever off. Quad runs good, no sounds of it rubbing. So that's a good spot right there. Alright, so we let it warm up for just a couple seconds. You don't have to do anything crazy. And then we're going to take the front drain plug out. I already got the dipstick out, just laying to the side. That way we can drain the oil a little bit faster. 12 millimeter, and then oil's a little bit dark. We'll check out the crush washers once we get them off of there. Alright, so engine drain plug is a 21 millimeter. And just make sure that whenever you put that thing back in, it's straight, because they will strip out pretty easy. There's only like 3 or 4 threads there. So make sure you're paying attention whenever you take it out and put that thing back in, because it's a pain to drill them out and time cert them. And it costs probably about $100 for me to do it. So we got the Reservoir drain plug, and you can see that side has some dirt pushed into it, but you look at this side, this is the side that was touching the reservoir itself, and there's a lip on it, and it's super thin. So luckily it still came off this bolt pretty easy, but it is definitely time for a new crush washer. Alright, so we got all of our oil drained out, and we have torqued the drain plugs back to 13 foot-pounds. And now we're going to take out our oil filter, and these should only be torqued about 7 foot-pounds. Don't tighten these down because you won't get them back out without doing some kind of bolt extraction. And I plan on washing this one off a little bit, so I'm not going to worry about the oil that spills. We might just put one little rag right there just so it can bounce off of it. Not make too much of a mess. So something like that, where it'll just fall in your oil bucket. looks pretty clean. I don't see any oil chips or anything. So we'll wipe our mating surface down. Make sure that O-ring stays in there, because you will have a very bad day if it doesn't. Clean this oil up. Alright, get a new filter.
So you saw it working?
Yeah, trying to get this one to all the plugs back in it.
That's the one you made a video on?
Yeah, because I never did a Raptor maintenance video. I tried to do one, but the customer was in such a hurry that I had to stop recording it.
How did you get mud on the top out under the plastic?
The Raptors and Yamahas are bad about getting it up inside the head.
He was on some thick, he was running some thick mud.
Yeah, through the water.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It was through some water. Georgia Clay is the worst.
Yeah. Alright, so we got our filter in, drain plugs are both back in and torqued down. So now we're going to fill the oil reservoir, and then you also have to fill the engine on the Raptors. So the reservoir gets 1300 cc, and mine only goes by 500s, so we're going to fill it up a couple times. Alright, 500. Don't drop it on the floor like that. Maybe like 995 since I dropped a little bit. And then 300. Alright, then we'll go to the other side. And this isn't a factory plug. I'm not sure where they grabbed this plug for the engine, but hey, if it works, it works. I'm not sure where they got that. Unless it's the factory plug and it's just broken the outside off, which would be strange. I haven't seen any of them break off like that. Alright, so this side, 550. so put the dipstick back in, and then we'll start it up and let it idle, and then double check the oil level, see if we need to add any, and if we add any, it'll be in the reservoir, not in the engine. Alright, so we let it sit for just a couple minutes to make sure the oil level is returned to the reservoir. We're going to wipe the stick off. And then we could probably use another 100 or 200 cc's in it. We'll just go about 50 at a time until it looks good on the dipstick. You don't want to overfill it, especially over the dipstick, because that oil has to go somewhere, and it's probably going to go everywhere. So that looks good. It's just below the full line. So if we run this dipstick all the way in, I bet it would be probably like a fingernail length below full. So that's good there. Make sure dipstick's in there good. So next step. So next up is tire pressure. I know where they ride. It's mostly hard packed trails, and it's pretty rough. So usually I do 5.5 front, 5 rear, but go with whatever your favorite setup is. And you can play around with this as long as the tire is cold. If you've been around the track 30 times, then the tire's probably not cold anymore. But if the tire's cold, take it around. Maybe one day ride 7 in the front, 5 in the rear. Maybe another day ride 4.5, 4, and just see how it goes. Just watch anything really below 4.5 without bead locks, because no bead locks, if that tire starts to roll, it's probably gonna come off. So you don't want that either. Alright, these rear ones are missing valve stem covers, so let's get those. There you go, just 25 cents could save you an entire ride day, just in case a rock kicks up and gets stuck in your valve stem. That's a bad time, trying to dig that out on the side of the trail. Alright, next up we got grease all the Zerk fittings. the Raptor has a hidden one up underneath here for the linkage. I can guarantee you the factory didn't grease that one. And then just so the dirt doesn't stick to the grease and make it look terrible, then I usually just go around. They'll start leaking a little bit here and there. Just wipe it with a towel to just get the excess grease off. Then we have the wonderful Raptor battery cable that's installed crooked. That's why the line doesn't really fit. So we'll swap that around for him, just to make it fit better. Phillips head screw his strips. Grab the 10mm. Alright, that's looking better. And now the cover actually fits on top of it whenever it finally relaxes from being bound up. And just for all the perfectionists that caught it, the front left tire was on backwards. I don't know if I did it, somebody else did it, but it's fixed now. So if you don't have these already, this is what you need. These are made by Nipex. You can get them on Amazon. But whenever you clip zip ties, that way it's flush and it doesn't cut you all up. So this one can go, because it's zip tied to the brake line. It's not really where we want that one. So we're going to zip tie that one down close to the bars. That way it hides it more, gets it out of the way. And this one's for the rear brake light. So just make sure to leave a little bit of slack in it. And cut it flush, that way it doesn't cut anybody. And then on this side, we're gonna grab the clutch safety and the start button with all the headlight stuff in it. And this one, same thing, pull the cable a little bit, make sure you got a little bit of slack in it. And tuck that one under there. Alright, cut it flush. You rotate these big ends to the back, that way they don't stick out as much. Go side to side. No binding, so good to go. Last thing, we did clean the chain. That we just use Dawn dish soap and a chain brush. Pretty easy. This one is stained. You don't want to really damage the chain trying to make it look shiny again. I mean, you could run a wire wheel on both sides, but the chances are you're going to cut your O-rings. And at that point, the chain's going to start making noise and everything else whenever the O-rings fly off of it. So clean it with a brush. And I hit it with this chain guard because it's clear. This doesn't mean you don't have to clean your chain every ride. You still need to clean it. I know I had some customers that I told them, hey, use this one, it doesn't make a mess. And then they reapplied this 15 times without cleaning their chain. It made a mess. So this one does a good job at not picking up a ton of dirt, but you still need to Dawn dish soap and wire, chain brush your chain every ride. Whenever you're doing your regular wash. And I noticed whenever I was washing this one outside, it doesn't roll smooth and the rear rotor's bent. Found that one pretty easy. If you look at the caliper, move whenever I do this. That's pretty much how you know the rear rotor's bent. Hit the customer up, they didn't want to fix it right now, which is all good. Maybe he can do it himself, so he'll do it whenever he gets home. So yeah, we're just gonna lube the chain. it's a little bit harder because it doesn't roll very good. It might be bent twice. Alright, so I can see the oil all the way around it, so that means that's good. If you want to see it up close of what you're looking for on the brake rotor, let's see if I can zoom in real close. Alright, something like that, and then I'm going to move it. And right there you can see the brake rotor start to go out, and then comes back in, goes out, comes back in. And that's going to create a ton of drag. It's going to heat the absolute hell out of that rotor. Probably going to burn the rotor at some point. Those pads, at worst case scenario, could start smoking. They are a good set of pads, but still it's going to wear the inside pad at minimum. And then I hope he replaces it, because if not, he'll be back for at least another set of brake pads within probably 4 rides. So hopefully he fixes whenever he gets home. But that is going to wrap up our maintenance video. You can see we're doing race bike maintenance. Every ride, gotta clean those air filters. So we got a Southern Roots race this Saturday. That would be the 6th, 7th of December, something like that. Adults run 1 o'clock. Y'all need to get your stuff ready, and if you can't get ready, then come see me and I'll get it ready. But yeah, we're gonna go have a good time. Weather should be good, something like 50, 51 for the high. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up the Raptor maintenance, basic maintenance. Check back later if y'all are interested in like Raptor valve adjustments. Trying to think what else there would be that's not kind of generic. Oh yeah, we can't let it leave like this. We're gonna help Sig out a little bit. All right, now we're looking good. You can't be leaving all dirty. Let's get the other side. All right, you already know we got to keep that advertising clean for SIG. So this was our ready to ride maintenance video. So this is the maintenance we do on Raptors, YFCs, side-by-sides, any of the above. For ATVs specifically, it's 125 labor plus parts. The parts being the oil filters, any grease that we use. We do keep Yamalube in stock, and then for our enthusiasts, weekend riders, racers, we do also stock AMSOIL. My personal bikes, if I'm gonna ride it hard, I put AMSOIL in it. All the lubricants, we have some extras. We do keep the filters in stock, especially if we know you're coming, then we'll double check the inventory. So if you need any parts or anything, any questions, just let me know. But yeah, appreciate y'all making it to the end of the video. We got some more coming. We have about, I think, 10 videos on the log right now. Had some computer issues. I still actually haven't figured it out. This is my 4th time editing this video. I am literally hitting save as soon as this voiceover is done. But you can see in the background, we had some awesome projects come through this summer, and we're just getting started. So in the background, we got a big bore, or a full bolt-on plus cam long travel Raptor build. So hey, best of the best. Rocket Ron hooked it up again with a crazy spring color on this one. So y'all aren't gonna want to miss that video. I am gonna export this bad boy and get moving to the next video. Hopefully my computer does not crash, so we can work through our backlog and get back on YouTube and get some more work out there. So appreciate y'all making it to the end, and I will see you in the next one.